Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
It was the pre-dawn darkness of January 6th, 2026. In Shimane Prefecture, Japan, a family was asleep. Suddenly, the ground began to shake violently. The house moved from side to side. Plates crashed and furniture rattled loudly. Fear filled the air. They held each other tightly, not knowing if the shaking would stop. This was the immediate, frightening reality of an earthquake. Soon, alerts flashed on phones and televisions. A magnitude 6.4 earthquake had hit the area. The shaking was strong in many cities. People across Japan waited, holding their breath for news about the damage. Everyone knew the risk of living in Japan, but each quake brought new worry. It showed how sudden and powerful nature could be. For those experiencing it, this earthquake felt very big. It was a moment of panic. But it was only a small sound, a faint echo. It was a sign of a much greater threat. Scientists watch this bigger threat closely. It is a giant sleeping under the sea called the Nankai trough. This deep place holds a hidden power. The good news came. Damage was minimal and injuries were few. This was not just luck. It was because Japan had spent many decades preparing. Its buildings are strong. Its warning systems are fast. But this earthquake was just a small practice run. The true test is yet to come. A far larger earthquake, one that could threaten the entire nation, is still ahead. 2. The Earth moves.
The earthquake on January 6th, 2026, happened in western Japan. It struck eastern Shimane Prefecture at 10:18 a.m. local time. The shaking was strong. It reached a strong 5 on Japan's 7-point scale in many cities. People felt the worst shaking in Matsue and Yasugi cities in Shimane. Also, Sakai Minato, Hino, and Kofu areas in Tottori felt it strongly. Luckily, there was not much harm. 5 people went to hospitals with injuries. These were from falls and minor accidents during the shaking. Some houses in Matsue City had small damage to their roofs. In Tottori Prefecture, police reported cracks on roads. This minor damage showed the quake's power, but also the strength of buildings in Japan. Japan's systems worked fast. The Japan Meteorological Agency sent early warning alerts quickly to televisions and mobile phones. This gave people precious seconds to prepare. A very important announcement came soon after. Chief Cabinet Secretary Minoru Kihara told the public that nuclear power plants in the region were safe. The Nuclear Regulation Authority confirmed no problems at the Shimane nuclear power plant. This news was very important for people, stopping fear. However, the earthquake's power also caused big problems for travel. It sent a shockwave through the nation's transport system. Major highways had cracks and closures. The famous Shinkansen bullet train stopped running.
For example, JR West halted services on the Sanyo Shinkansen line for hours. Many other train services, like Limited Express and sleeper trains, were canceled. Even airports like Izumo and Yanago temporarily closed for safety checks. This showed how one earthquake could stop Japan's important travel systems, pointing to a weakness. 3. Living on fire. Japan is a country that often shakes. This is because of where it sits on the earth. Imagine the Earth's surface like a big puzzle. Japan is right where 4 large puzzle pieces meet. These pieces are called tectonic plates. The four plates are the Pacific Plate, the Philippine Sea Plate, the Eurasian Plate, and the Okhotsk Plate. Because of these meeting points, Japan is part of something called the Pacific Ring of Fire. This ring of fire is not really fire. It is a long, curved line that goes around the Pacific Ocean. It has many volcanoes and is where most of the world's earthquakes happen. About 90% of all earthquakes in the world occur along this ring of fire. Also, about 75% of all active volcanoes on Earth are found here. The plates under Japan are always moving, very slowly. For example, the Pacific Plate slides under Japan by about 8 to 9 centimeters each year. This slow movement builds up a lot of pressure. When this pressure becomes too much, the Earth shakes. This is an earthquake. This means that for people in Japan, earthquakes are a normal part of life.
The country experiences around 1,500 earthquakes every year. Many of these are small, causing only slight shaking. But earthquakes with a magnitude of 4 to 6 are also common, so it is not rare for buildings to shake a little on any given day. For people living in Japan, knowing about earthquakes is very important. They do not ask if an earthquake will happen, but when and how strong it will be. This constant shaking means that earthquakes are not a sudden, unexpected event. Instead, they are a steady, unavoidable part of living in Japan. This natural reality has deeply changed the country's way of life and its people. Knowing that a big earthquake will happen again, not if, but when, how has Japan built busy, modern cities right on this active land? The answer is a special way of thinking that uses this constant danger to create a culture ready for anything. 4. Ready for the worst. Japan lives with constant earthquake danger. Because of this, the country has a strong culture of being ready for disasters. Japan's plan to prepare is one of the best in the world. It aims to save human lives and stop big damage to important parts of society. This includes not only buildings, but also how people live and work. Engineers in Japan have made buildings very safe. New buildings must meet strict rules to stand strong during shaking. Builders use thicker beams, stronger pillars, and robust walls.
One clever way to make buildings safer is to install special rubber pads at their base. These pads act like soft cushions. They absorb the shock from ground movement, stopping the main building from shaking too much. This smart engineering helps many structures stay safe and upright. Japan also has a very fast early warning system. When an earthquake begins, alerts go out quickly to millions of cell phones. These warnings also appear on TV and through public speaker systems. They give people crucial seconds or minutes to take cover before the strong shaking arrives. This short time can make a big difference, allowing people to move to a safe spot and potentially saving many lives. Being ready is also a part of daily life for everyone. In schools and offices, earthquake drills happen regularly. Children learn from a young age to drop, cover, and hold on under a sturdy desk. Companies keep emergency supplies and hold periodic training sessions for their staff. This constant practice ensures that when a real earthquake strikes, people's reactions are almost automatic. Japan has used every possible technology and human effort to prepare for the worst dangers. But even with all this excellent preparation, Japan faces new, big problems from inside. Many important structures like roads, bridges, and water pipes are getting old.
they need constant repairs. For example, a city hit by a big earthquake in 2024 saw thousands of buildings fall.
Many roads were still broken 2 years later. Also, less than 40% of homes have furniture secured, which can cause injuries during a quake. Many city areas are still at risk from large fires after an earthquake. There are not enough workers to fix everything, and Japan's population is shrinking and getting older. This means less money for repairs and fewer young people to do the work. How can Japan defend itself against a future major disaster when its very foundations are slowly weakening from neglect? 5. The coming megastorm. Japan lives with earthquakes, but one big threat is always there: the Nankai trough. This is a deep area in the ocean along Japan's Pacific coast. History shows that very large earthquakes happen here every 90 to 150 years. The last big one was in 1946. That was almost 80 years ago. This means another one could be coming soon. The Japanese government has made some serious predictions. A new, very strong earthquake along the Nankai Trough could kill many people. Experts say up to 298,000 people could die. Most of these deaths, about 215,000, would be from huge tsunamis. These giant waves could be taller than 10 meters. They could hit 13 different areas, from Kanto to Kyushu. The damage would be very bad for Japan's economy. The government thinks the direct damage could be around 170 trillion yen.
The economic losses for the next year could be another 50 trillion yen. One study says that over 20 years, the total economic loss could be as high as 1,240 trillion yen. This is 10 times more damage than the 2011 Tohoku earthquake caused. Such an earthquake would shake or flood a huge part of Japan. This area holds about 1/3 of the country and half of its people. Many factories that make cars, steel, and electronics are in this region. These factories are part of important global supply chains. So a Nankai Trough earthquake would affect the whole world, not just Japan. Scientists say there is a very high chance of this happening. The probability of a magnitude 8 or 9 earthquake in the Nankai Trough within the next 30 years is over 80%. This is not just a guess, it is a serious warning. Recently, there have been more signs of danger. In August 2024, Japan's weather agency gave a megaquake advisory for the Nankai Trough. This happened after a magnitude 7.1 earthquake. It was the first time they had given such a warning. This caused many people to panic. They bought a lot of food and water, and many travel plans were canceled. People started to think the big earthquake was very near. Another earthquake in December 2025, with a magnitude of 7.5, also led to another warning.
These events make many people feel that the wait has begun. Chapter 6. A Nation on Edge. Living in Japan meant living with earthquakes, but the threat of a Nankai Trough megaquake was different. It cast a long, heavy shadow over the whole nation. For many people, this was a constant mental burden. Every small shake of the ground, every news report, reminded them that a huge disaster could happen at any second. This created deep anxiety for families and communities. People worried about their loved ones, their homes, and their future. In August 2024, This quiet worry became a loud alarm. Japan's weather agency issued a special Nankai trough megaquake advisory. This was the first time such a warning had been given under the current system. It came after a strong magnitude 7.1 earthquake near Miyazaki Prefecture. The advisory was not a direct prediction of when the big quake would hit. Instead, it signaled an increased risk. Still, it caused widespread panic across the country. Immediately, people rushed to stores. Supermarket shelves quickly became empty of essential items. Food like rice and dried noodles, bottled water, and emergency supplies disappeared fast. Even portable toilets were hard to find in many places. This fear spread beyond the direct risk zones, affecting Western Japan and even Tokyo. Many individuals and businesses canceled travel plans.
Hotels saw a wave of cancellations, and public events were postponed or stopped completely. The Japanese government faced a very difficult task. They needed to tell people about the potential danger clearly so everyone could prepare, but they also had to avoid constant fear and stopping normal daily life. It was challenging to explain the complex scientific information about risk in a way that did not lead to panic. The government struggled to find the right balance between informing and reassuring the public. This situation clearly showed the human and emotional cost of living under such a threat. It was more than just engineering or economic damage. It was about the daily psychological burden, the sense of uncertainty, and the need for peace of mind. Later, in December 2025, another magnitude 7.5 earthquake added to the tension. It led to a second week-long megaquake advisory, keeping the entire nation on high alert. People continued to live with this heavy thought, constantly aware of the risks. However, the Japanese government and various organizations were not standing still. They were actively launching new plans and initiatives to make the country safer and stronger. These efforts aimed to bolster the nation's defenses against the predicted disaster. But a big question remained. Would these new actions truly be enough to confront a force of nature that defied full prediction and remained largely out of human control?
Japan is always learning and planning. The country looks to the future to protect its people from earthquakes and other dangers. In 2026, a new national agency will start. Its name will be the Disaster Management Agency. This new agency will work to bring different parts of the government together. Its goal is to make all disaster preparation efforts stronger and more coordinated. Also, there are public awareness campaigns. One big project is called Bosai. This project uses television and other media to teach people important ways to get ready for disasters. It helps them know what to do when an earthquake or tsunami hits. These new steps show that Japan keeps trying to improve its defense against natural forces. However, even with these new plans and constant efforts, some problems remain. Not all homes are fully ready for a strong earthquake. For example, less than 40% of houses have furniture secured to walls. This means heavy cabinets, bookshelves, or televisions can fall during strong shaking. Such falling objects can cause serious injuries or even death. Also, some cities have many old, close-together wooden buildings. These areas are very vulnerable. They can catch fire easily after an earthquake,
and fires can spread fast. Stopping massive fires in these places is still a big challenge for authorities. Only 61% of these dangerous areas have been made safer by March 2024.
These persistent gaps mean Japan still has important work to do to protect all its citizens. Japan's continuous fight against earthquakes is important for the whole world to watch. Many countries around the globe face similar dangers from nature, like earthquakes, tsunamis, or storms. Japan's long history with these events gives it valuable lessons that others can use. Other nations can learn from Japan's many successes in preparing its infrastructure and people. They can also learn from its difficulties and what did not work so well. Japan shows how a country can prepare for big disasters over many, many years. Its efforts in building safe homes, having advanced warning systems, and teaching public safety are strong examples. This ongoing struggle in Japan is like a small picture of bigger problems the whole world faces in a changing climate. It offers hard-won knowledge for everyone. Japan uses many different ways to get ready for disaster. It has smart technology, like early warning systems that send alerts to phones. It also uses simple drills, like practicing drop, cover, and hold on in schools. But the true strength of Japan is not just in these many things. It is not in any one new government plan or amazing machine. There is a deeper idea that helps this nation. This fundamental principle allows Japan to face big and constant threats. It helps them keep building and planning for a safe tomorrow, even when danger is always near.
What is this important idea that makes Japan's spirit so strong? The unbreakable spirit. The small earthquake on January 6, 2026, perfectly showed Japan's long journey. It was a gentle shake, much smaller than the huge earthquakes that could happen, but it was also a strong reminder for everyone. It told them that big dangers, like the Nankai trough megaquake, are always present. Yet something very important happened that day. Very little went wrong. There were only 5 minor injuries and small damage, like a few cracked roads. This was a quiet victory. It showed that decades of planning and hard work by the nation had paid off. The best story that day was about what did not happen, showing the success of their preparations. Japan's true strength is not just in its advanced buildings or its fast warning systems. It comes from something deeper, its spirit. The people of Japan have learned to accept the risks of living on the Pacific Ring of Fire. This acceptance does not make them fatalistic or scared. Instead, it leads to constant, never-ending preparation. They always think about how to stay safe, how to build better, and what to do when the ground shakes. Resilience is more than just government rules or building laws. It is how they live every single day. It is a deep part of their national culture. The earth moves and changes, and the Pacific Ring of Fire will always be there, bringing many earthquakes and volcanoes. This is a permanent part of Japan's reality. But the spirit of the people who live in Japan is also strong and lasting. They choose to stay on this land, to build new things, and to make their lives safe. They are forever preparing for the future, adapting to new problems, and rebuilding what is broken. This unbreakable spirit helps them face any challenge the earth sends their way. What important lessons do you think other countries can learn from Japan's constant efforts to prepare for natural disasters?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.